The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion, we can do it together. When we look at the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the BNP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it does now come Rex. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
How are you doing? All right. Yeah. Well, we have so far few persons in the chat. I want to big up these persons, right? AJ, bless up yourself. Carla Banks, bless up yourself. Lavina Miles, bless up yourself. All right, and Dorothy McKay. Right. So I know that persons will be rolling in, right, as we proceed along. All right. Now for this morning, all right, I know that Melting Pot will be forwarding, right, later. Right. So, we are going to proceed. Real Black Woman, bless up yourself. Right, yeah, good day, sir, and chat. Bless up, good day to you as well. Hilaire Smith, High Mystic Sensation. Yeah, nice to have you here, Hilaire. Right, I want to begin this morning. We have some lovely topics that we are going to share this morning. Right, topic number one, we have organized crime versus systemic corruption. We'll be discussing that. And under the subheading, we have transition to CCJ, Justice for All Jamaican. That's a very important topic that we need to explore and discuss. Right? We also have introduction, why GLP administration cripples education. That sounds mean, but it is reality. And we are going to delve into that as well, right? And our last program for the day will be sex offenders list needs to be public, right? And that is a very serious issue that we are going to discuss. Just let me just go through, right? And, give grace of some of our people who in the chat, right? Dorothy McKay, right, Real Black Woman, as I said before, Hilaire Smith, Lillian Turner, bless myself, Lindell McCormack, right, and Almaric Headland. Before I start the program, right, I want to speak on situation that, I know that persons are going to be asked, Mystic Sensation. I am not seeing Pink Skew. What happened, right? And I want to address that situation in terms of us moving forward. But I'm just going to touch the surface. I'm not going to go in depth with that. Now, Jamaica, if you say you are comrade, right, and you are moving with one mandate, good governance to build Jamaica, if you have a situation with a particular comrade and you are willing to disseminate information throughout social media as it relates to you claim that you have evidence, then if you're willing to share such information, if you're willing to speak about it, you're supposed to also prepare to have evidence that back up what you are saying. Defamation of character is a very serious offense, and particularly comrade against comrade. That is something that I really, really, honestly cannot tolerate. Let me speak of it before I get into the program so that people can understand in terms of maybe they are wondering, right, why we don't have a spink skew. It is important that if you're willing to speak about a comrade, for me, the proper protocol that if you have something with a comrade, speak to the comrade one-on-one, and where you can utilize that medium to have an understanding in terms of your differences. That's all I'm saying. However, if you chose not to use that route, and then you are taking information and you're disseminating information all over, I don't think it is fair for that comrade. I honestly don't think it's fair, particularly when it is information that is damning. And I am saying that if you're willing to disseminate information by whatever means, you have to be willing to provide the facts. And it is simple. If Mystic Sensation asks you, okay, you claim A and B, where is the evidence? And then you are going to say to me that the evidence, you are not allowed to share it because of legal issues. Well, let me say this. You shouldn't have been speaking on it. You shouldn't have been disseminating information about it and spreading it all over. Likewise, though, you are concerned that it is a legal issue and you are not supposed to share it, you shouldn't disseminating it any at all. A level of decorum needs to take its place on a professional basis. And so then, if you can resort in terms of when the evidence is required of you and you cannot present it, then we are going to take it that the information that you are disseminating is just simply false. Because you are to think about the consequences thereof before you begin to disseminate those information. And when it comes for the presentation of the evidence, you don't have it. Your reason is going to say that legal issues and you can't present it. Then you shouldn't have disseminating that information. And I leave it right there. I'm not going to get into details because this is not for social media discussion to disseminate it, you understand, and get into details. So I leave it. I just want for people to understand that if you are not seeing a spink skew on the program, right, then you have a basis of what transpired. All right? We have to act professionally, and that's it. Now, my Jamaican people, let me begin with, right, the first program that we have, organized crime versus systemic corruption. Now, when you have a Mystic Sensation speaking out against the government, and you have, right, other vloggers speaking out against the government, for Mystic Sensation, right, under no circumstances I would have been speaking out against a government providing good governance. Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to do that? If I have a government that dealing with good governance, I wouldn't want to go against the grain of that. No. But the evidence in terms of what we are looking on, and the evidence that the Integrity Commission investigators are looking on, we have to come to the terms that we have to put this government under the microscope. So this is not about social media. You have professional entity like the Integrity Commission investigators, right, who are distinguished gentlemen and ladies, professional people. We're talking about lawyers, we're talking about judges. Do you believe that those lawyers and judges, right, for name's sake, in terms of going out against the government, right, dealing with propaganda? Come on, Jamaican people. Come on. These are professional people doing simply as what their mandate requires them to do. To investigate, to ensure that procurement around contracts done per law. And so then while the Prime Minister and his administration can come out and say, okay, social media is, propaganda and, and this and that, you're talking about professional entity, right? Who of the Prime Minister under investigation as it relates to multiple of the Prime Minister's statutory declaration cannot be certified. This is not a normal thing. We can't accept this. Let me say this categorically clear. In a modern democracy, the Prime Minister would have to step down. But Jamaica, for what it is, and the systemic corruption that overwhelm the system. And so then, that is why the Prime Minister can prevail in our society where he controls with corruption. And so then, the effort of the Prime Minister fighting against crime is ironic to me. Very ironic. To say the least, that the persons who claim, right, to fighting against crime is the very same person committing crime. Committing crime. Corruption. And so this is where I want to begin this morning conversation with all of my people. And we don't speak unless we have source document to back up. Let us get into the first source document, right, that we want to present today. Now, look at this, people. Let us share this. Let us share the first source document for the day. All right. Now let us share this. Now listen to what the Prime Minister has to say, right? Speaking against violence, right? Listen to what the Prime Minister is saying here.
Now I know some of you are fed a steady diet of all the killings and violence and shootings and all the negative things that are happening in Jamaica. We have adopted a two-pronged strategy. First, we must examine this issue of violence. Violence as a public health consideration, not just from a national security point of view. but from a public health standpoint. Because if you look at violence, you have intimate partner violence, man and woman business. You have domestic violence, which is brother and sister, neighbor and neighbor violence. And then you have parenting violence, otherwise called corporal punishment. The society may not necessarily see it as violence. And if you put those three together as, the critical social violence in the society that we have to treat with, these things pervade our social interaction. We usually say you go to a dance and a man step on your toe and you reach for your ratchet knife. That instinctive response that when you're in conflict, the only way to resolve it is to resort to violence. Unfortunately, that has crept into our consciousness and it has just overtaken too much of our social interactions. So I would say that over the last 40 years, the level of aggressiveness in the society has reached an intolerable level, and it is changing the brand of Jamaica. It is adding a certain coarseness to our text. That has to be dealt with. And that has to be dealt with, as I said, from a public health standpoint. But in the last 30 years, we have seen a new form of violence emerged, and that is called organized violence. That is criminal enterprises using organized violence for economic means. Gangs in communities trying to dominate and control spaces. 70% of murders in Jamaica are directly gang related. If you were to eliminate gangs from Jamaica, Jamaica's murder rate would fall to below the regional average of 16 per 100,000. So the two-pronged strategy, we have to treat with the public health issue of violence, and that is why we have put in place the National Violence Prevention Commission to study and give us some recommendations as to how to treat with this, right? I know you're all concerned our country can't go down this road of coarseness. Has to be stopped. But as you are well seized, it is not a simple issue as a decree from the platform, because there are many persons who believe that violence is important. You have to beat the picnic for the picnic to grow up good. And there are people who genuinely believe that you show love to the woman and not even going to say it. Those things are deeply ingrained. And so it's going to take time to reculture our people out of those beliefs. So that's a long-term project. But in the short term, we can deal with organized violence. And Jamaica has had great results.
Let us take this away, my people. Let us take this away, right? And let me just speak to my people a bit. Now, so while the Prime Minister is talking about organized crime, domestic situations, yes, in reflection, some of those are true. But what I'm talking about is that the Prime Minister needs to recognize him as a leader, need to have a level of awareness of his administration own doing. When we look on organized crime and when we look on domestic violence in terms of what the Prime Minister is speaking, that situation is not so much detrimental than systemic corruption within the Prime Minister administration. Let us argue this. When we look on organized crime and domestic violence, as what the Prime Minister had spoken about, how much of that really damage our economy? Right? When we look on systemic corruption within the Prime Minister's administration, how much of that damage our economy? So let us try compare and contrast Both the organized crime, as what the Prime Minister is speaking about, and systemic crime, as it relates to which one is more impactful and damaging to the economy. Systemic corruption is definitely more devastating. I am not saying that we are not to pay attention to organized crime. Yes, we are. But when you look on systemic corruption, let us take it there. Our national debt is $2.3 trillion, going $2.4 trillion. When we look and see that over $1.8 trillion, $3 trillion the last time, sorry, not 1.8, over $3 trillion unaccounted for by nefarious means. Nefarious means. Let us look at that. Let us think. Let us think that if we were able to give an account for $3 trillion and put that in the economy, would have now paid off our $2.3 trillion debt and have $7 billion to spare. While all of that may not resolve in stealing, but either proper management of procurement would have accounted for and create track and trace in the system so that all expenditures can be accounted for. The Prime Minister administration deliberately, premeditatedly stamp out the system of checks and balance. The Prime Minister himself had demonstrated that by not signing the code of conduct and influence his subordinates not to do that. Is that good governance? Or how does that look to me? Systemic corruption. The Prime Minister extend himself in terms of executing Section 53, subsection 3 of the Integrity Commission Act, silencing the Integrity Commission investigators from speaking out on issues of concerns as it relates to the breach of procurement, and taking away oversight from the Integrity Commission investigators. This is true to the book. The Prime Minister uses 49 in 2020 override and take away parliamentary committees like the PAC and the PAAC that have to do with oversight of government expenditures, my Jamaican people. And as such, this morning, I am going to show you a series, a pattern of behavior with the Prime Minister's administration. And I show you that something fundamentally wrong. And we have to look into these when we see all these red flags. Number one, let us dig again deeper, a little bit deeper, as it relates to Christopher Tufton. And you are going to see that the ingredients that coming out of that is chaos. Unbelievable. And then Here he is, surfacing amidst the report coming out. Oh, yes. The IC vindicated me. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The audacity to stand in front of the public and lie is unacceptable. Unacceptable. It's as if he's saying that they don't get it. They don't understand what is happening. And he feel the need to come out and lie bare-faced to the public of Jamaica. And yes, are we to accept that? Are we to accept that? Let us get into some of the details here. Let us get into some of the details here. Let me show you this, my Jamaican people. Now look at this. Look at this. Let us dig in terms of the disrespect, right, with Christopher Tufton. Let us get, right, and get very serious with this. Remember, we are coming off the Prime Minister talking about organized crime. And I am on the counter talking about systemic corruption coming out of the Prime Minister's administration versus organized crime. So please remember that's where we are coming from. I see Tufton's indirect influence led to $80 million in contracts for a friend's firm. And my Jamaican people, $80 million spent. And we cannot understand as to why it was spent. We can't see any result as to why it was spent. This is crazy, Jamaica. Crazy. And look at the big smile. Look at the big smile on his face. Look at the big smile on this man's face. This is a sickness. Now let us read on. Cabinet Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton actions indirectly influence Health Ministry's engagement of a marketing firm of his friend that resulted in the entity being awarded contracts of just under $80 million, an investigative report has found. This paragraph is speaking about nepotism. This paragraph, Jamaica, is identify nepotism in Andrew Holness' administration. Let us move on. 6 of the 15 contracts, 14 issued by the Ministry of Health and Wellness and 1 by the National Family Planning Board, were done in an irregular, Mr. Tufton, done in an irregular manner and contrary to the principle of competition. What that mean, my Jamaican people? That means it wasn't put out to tender. Was not put out to tender, which it ought to be as it relates to the rules and regulation, that anything that extends beyond $1.5 million, right, has to have certain authorization on it. But particularly this contract did not put out a tender. This is disgraceful, Mr. Tufton. So we are going to break it down this morning. The 15 contracts awarded between 2016 and 2021 were valued at $78 million, Mr. Tufton. $579,522.49. For what? The findings are contained in a 105-page Integrity Commission investigative report tabled in the House of Representatives yesterday. Director of Investigation Kevin Stevenson said that while he saw no evidence to indicate that Tufton was directly involved in the award of a contract to Market Me, totaling 15.8 million. The issue that triggered the probe, he found that the minister's action, Mr. Tufton, could reasonably be considered to have indirectly influenced the engagement of Market Me, which ultimately resulted in that entity being awarded contract of just under $80 million. This paragraph also speaks to the extension of nepotism. And you know that, Mr. Tufton. Stevenson said his conclusion, which came after a 3-year investigation into the matter, was formed on the basis that Market Me unsolicited proposal was discussed with Tufton by its principal. Let me, hold on, people. Let me see if I can take this call here. Okay, all right. Let me just leave that alone. Stevens said his conclusion, which came after 3-year investigation into the matter, was formed on the basis, that Market Me unsolicited proposal was discussed with Tufton by its principal, Lindsay McDonough, right, with whom he indicated he had a friendship prior to his appointment as Minister of Health and Wellness. So you see where their friendship is coming from? You see where their friendship is coming from? Now, introduction to the ministry. Further, Stevenson said it was Tufton who introduced Market Me. Tufton himself. Right? Introduced Market Me, its concept, and McDonald to his staff at the ministry, indicating that the company should be involved in all public relations matters relating to him. Now, this is a fundamental wrong, because there are other medium that Tufton could use that would not cause the government $80 million. More than one mediums were there that if Tufton is going to use taxpayers' money or PO taxpayers' money, should take the best interest in terms of value for money. Why did she pay $80 million? Eh? Why did she pay $80 million? And why Tufton did not use other medium that is way cheaper than what he chose to use as it relates to his personal friendship to this young lady. Now, the director of investigation said the minister, who was appointed to the portfolio in 2016, seemed, based on the evidence, to have been integrally involved in a number of meetings with Market Me, convened to discuss Jamaica Moves, the flagship non-communicable disease response program of the ministry. Right? Hold on, people. Let me just take this call from Brother Lyde. Hold on. Okay. Yes, Brother Lyde. Okay, all right. Let me do that. Okay. Let me do that. Let me just do that. All right, brother. All right, let me just add Lyde to the show. All right, brother Lyde. Just let me just go back into this, right? Document here.
Yeah, man.
All right. Hold on. Let me just remove this and get back into the document. Sorry about that, my people, right? Okay, let me just get back into the document. Right, this is crazy. This is crazy, my Jamaican people. This is just crazy. Right? Here it is. Right? Now, the director of investigations said the minister who was appointed to the portfolio in 2016 seemed, based on the evidence, to have been integrally involved in a number of meetings with Market Me convened to discuss Jamaica moves. The flagship non-communicable disease response program of the ministry. Added to that, Stevenson said he came to the position by Tufton's own admission. Tufton owns admission that the proposal from Market Me appeared to fit in with his view on lifestyle and wellness issues, and that this would have been recognized by the ministry staff involved in this process. Can you imagine? So Tufton now gone beyond, right? Speaking good about this so-called company that just newly existed. This company has no experience. Nothing. Did not exist before. So it is Tufton doing. Make it into being. Tufton doing. Make Market Me into being. To just what? Pay her $80 million. This is crazy, people. Now, let us move on. However, the minister said he gave no directions, instructions, or recommendations concerning the treatment of the proposal, but thought he was entitled. What do you mean you were entitled? As minister, to express his views on policy issues, noting that the officers would no doubt have taken into account that fact when treating with the proposal. Number one, Tufton, you did not speak and declare before this person had given the contract and telling Jamaica, I want Jamaica to understand, that Tufton did not speak in reference of the relationship that him and this lady has prior into this lady getting the contract. That him and this lady has personal relationship prior to 2016, before Tufton becomes a minister, the minister. Before Tufton became the Minister of Health, Tufton had personal relationship with this lady. And such, that totally again in the extension of nepotism. I am telling you that we have a lot of work to do, you know, because we have to put now nepotism, cronyism, and skullduggery on the books for them to be prosecuted. Nowhere in the Constitution, nowhere in laws that stated that nepotism, cronyism, and skullduggery, if found within that gap of the law, that these persons can be prosecuted under that basis. So we have to clean up this mess if we want to protect taxpayers' money. We have to. Right? And we have to speak to our 28 members that these are journeys that they need to travel to ensure that we have proper protection as it relates to taxpayers' money. Where the issue of nepotism, cronyism, and skullduggery concern. In first world country, they have laws against those demons of corruption. They have laws against those demons of corruption. They have laws against nepotism, cronyism, and skullduggery. And their member of parliament can be prosecuted on those bases. What do the Jamaican people have to protect taxpayers? Come on, legislators. You need to do better, much better than this. Social media now is asking you that you need to do much better than this in terms of having these put in law. We need to have our impeachment, right? We need to craft a law that covers nepotism, cronyism, and skullduggery, and borne out a fine for this. Because how is it that Andrew Holness can pass laws about tie gun and 15 years, and yet we cannot pass laws to protect taxpayers' money? How does that make sense in terms of moving the country forward, in terms of making progress, in terms of stopping corruption? But yet Andrew Holness find time, Andrew Holness administration find time to pass laws 15 years for tie gun. Tell me, how does that strengthen our economy, Andrew Holness? Tell Jamaican people, how does that strengthen the economy? How does that deal with corruption? How does that deal with corruption, Andrew Holness? And the things that is of most important as it relates to nepotism, cronyism. Here it is that the Integrity Commission investigators investigate you guys and these matters. And yet, they cannot prosecute you on the basis these tenants are not put in law. So what the IC must be doing? And then people blaming the IC cannot be blamed. What is the background and the basis of law that IC is going to prosecute you for nepotism and cronyism and skullduggery? Tell me. Nothing in the Constitution, nothing in law, nothing in Parliament. This is sick, and this must be stopped. Now, however, Stevenson said that although the evidence did not suggest that Tufton directly gave instruction to engage Market Me as a consultant, it was clear, based on the evidence of former Permanent Secretary Dr. Kevin Harvey, that he gave directives to hold discussion with Market Me around its proposal. You don't want it clearer than that. You don't want it clearer than that, my people. Let me take this away. Brother Melting Pot, do you have anything to speak on the topic?
Yes, a whole lot, because this topic is a topic that we rehearse on several occasions. And
all right, go ahead, my brother.
I mean, everybody knows Tufton pull off one again. But them use the mechanism that is in place for Andrew Holness orchestrate, yeah? Where, you know, the law pop down around the things where it's supposed to protect, yeah? That we see, you know. The critical law was supposed to in a parliament to stop these nasty criminals like Tufton from using taxpayers' money to fund their own lifestyle, yeah? We want them law there for concrete back round the system, yeah, and make sure no say protect taxpayers' money. Everybody know what Tufton do. Tufton, you too lie. And just because you know the loophole that exists, yeah, you slide through it. Because you notice how you orchestrate this thing, you know. You know, do nothing directly, you know, but indirectly you are doing it. What Kevin Harvey said. You give the notion to the contract.
Yeah.
You approve of it. You are the man who head the ministry. And you did a run out on the slogan, wellness being. Yeah? Eat healthy, Market Me. You forgot. So come like, how it could have sprung up then if you not tied to it in the decision policy. And when you come and talk about, yeah, as minister, I am entitled to speak on policy issue. Yes, you're entitled to speak on policy issue. We all know that. The school children in England know say you're entitled to speak on policy issue surrounding the Ministry of Health. Yeah. So don't go on like beyond that. Yeah. You don't know where you're going with. You know where you're going with. Yeah, and this woman, you know, have relationship from long before Wappy a kill Philo. Okay? So you know the individual in question. Your sweetheart we are talk. Yeah? The one where you give her 85 million for market you. Yeah? So we know all of that. But you use the system and we are set to the legislator them. We are pass law, and pass the correct law. Them look a full law won't have put in for earth, get a youth and get a people. Them the law they honor law where Jamaica need right now. Those laws are not criminally affecting Jamaica at the top level where it concerns taxpayers' money. Yeah? So we want to put in the law, yeah, like impeachment for these nastiness over the Jamaica Labour Party. We are wreak havoc on taxpayers' money. Yet there must be law to stop them from doing this criminal act against the taxpayers, using the taxpayers' money for various activity like this one market me 85 million Jamaican dollars. Yeah. But then again, we could just look on things in a different light. Yeah. Just view it from a point of view. Did Jamaican benefit from this 85 million?
No.
So whether you give the direct order or not, or you're not involved, you as the Minister for Health, you don't know, so 85 million leave your ministry to an unscrupulous person then. Because you don't know the person, you know. So I could put it in a reference term. An unscrupulous person were awarded 85 million from your ministry for a little shitty program called Market Me. You don't know about that. All right, if you never know about it at the inception, you know, hear about it in a society. Did you do anything to retrieve that 85 million? Did the country benefit from that 85 million? Did that program even get off the ground for that 85 million? Exactly. No. So it's simply telling us that you're playing Dr. Hyde and Jekyll. Exactly. And you must stop it. Because you're insulting the intelligence of the Jamaican electorate. And even the young ones who are not yet eligible for that process. Young school children, them going to school. If they have any, you know, interest into politics or they listen to news, they could know that you pull off a coup again on the Jamaica taxpayers. 85 million. So don't come around and come spew no lie out of your stinking mouth. You're too live, your Minister of Health. Your mouth sick with lie. It need doctoring. Every time when you just take Jamaican for a little lollipop when you just suck up the country wealth. I want to no nastiness. Get to know act together, man. We don't dry down the country in such a way that the country in the red right now. You understand? We don't have no money now to pay nobody because of this sporadic behavior we want to have of stealing the taxpayers' money. We the worse than the gang them in Jamaica. Because you combine them total, you know, loot for the decade. Them not take what not take, you know.
That's what I'm saying.
And on a minister. The youth them not rob the amount of una rob out there. Because we not rob on no chop. We not move money in a multiple of millions. And sometimes billions. I remember no say, this is not something we under the carpet. It's out there in the open year. Everybody know about it. Foreigners know about it. Because you have a lot of people in foreign countries that have so much into Jamaica, yeah, politics. That it's unbelievable. We don't even know that's why we know our shit. Because we never know it's the outside people, yeah, who affiliate themselves to Jamaicans, yeah, but them born in a foreign country. Them have so much interest in this little island, Jamaica. It's unbelievable. And them speak so much about the high level of corruption in Jamaica and the nastiness. Get to know together. Yeah. So we know so the Integrity Commission I do them best, you know. Yeah. But you see the criminal Prime Minister Andrew Wallace, him start them thing, yeah, man. Just look how the man operate. 2016, yeah, when him just win by 1 seat, him operate, you know, not 100% normal, but you'd have give him a 90% normality. How you know a Prime Minister supposed to operate. Come 2020, when him get this 49, him gone rogue. Him become a dictator. Him all tell them to not sign the code of conduct and all type of thing. And then you hear another guy named Just Shit Minister Delroy Nasty Garbage Truck. I tell them, so them and them spouse must declare the asset. That is clear indication of uno being criminal. I don't know, so uno amass a certain amount of money. I don't hide it. Yeah, the Prime Minister won't it expose partially people, it not fully exposed yet. What we see is just the tip of the iceberg with Andrew Wallace. Here there's more to come, lots more to come where him is concerned. And the other 10 them not much better, you know. Them not much better. You understand? Them do the same thing. Size 13, the whole of them mama cow, the whole of them having tie. Yeah, Chang, the whole of them are robbers. Them are thief in a white collar. And we have to call it out as it is. Call a spade a spade. These guys are criminals in white collar. And so when we, as concerned Jamaica, who pledge our allegiance to our flag and our national anthem, yeah, and we, yeah, show our true patriotism to the cause and the concern of what is happening in Jamaica, yeah, then people must listen, yeah, with attentive ears, understand what we are saying. Because I grieve it why we come here, so you know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me I tell you, say, I hear all the phone I ring and wake me up, you know. Because I'm going to put in back my crown. You understand? And they have to come out of that little thing there where make yourself feel a bit heavy. Yeah. You understand? So, I'm still run come hold the hot seat.
You see it?
Yeah. I know where I go on. Yeah. So, the effort for me I put out, you know, to fight this, you know, ugly skirmish situation where the Jamaica as it relates to corruption. Yes. It's not easy, my brother. My people, it's not an easy process to sit down, yeah, and speak about these things. But over the period of time where we are doing it, but we love it. And we not give up on it. Because this is what them criminals want, you know. If we never in the hot seat run on social media and I beat the nastiness, them, you know, things worse in Jamaica, you know. You can imagine and just look on Jamaica now, it's bad. But it would have worse. Yeah, because right now we start move some people with hold them garbage accountable back to the position where they're supposed to be, you know. Whooping up them eye and them ears for them criminal there. And people now see the reality and know so well then this cannot continue in Jamaica because it's going to sink Jamaica below where 80 there. And below all places like Suriname. Syria, I mean. You understand? And what you see happening in the Middle East, them country there, Eritrea and all them places there. You understand? And we can't allow our place to, you know, find itself in another bracket there. The whole of the minister demand that Andrew Wallace administration, they were all criminals. They are all criminals, my people. Yeah? And there are some civil society members, yeah, who get good administrative job where taxpayers are pay them well. Yeah? Like the permanent secretary, them come out in partner afraid to shout it out, you know. Them here than a bit the criminality. You have some people where are pass the law, them where them know the law, them no good, and them still sign up on them. Them are criminal as well. Yeah. So when we there song we feel, you know, the need to highlight the high level of corruption, you know, we are going to burn it with fire. This guy is supposed to find back the 85 million. Nobody know the one woman 85 million.
It's crazy.
You're mad. And not even your wife, your sweetheart, I wish you have so sweet your heart that it worth 85 million. Wish you have so sweet your heart. Hey, anybody could have known so this guy I know wasn't the right choice for the ministry, you know. Because when the health system in a crisis, we see this guy on beach, you know. Yeah, I do. Where am I doing? Him a shoot a movie theme song for the Market Me movie. Because you know, when you don't have nigger, you know, in a little cottage, you know, you're supposed to alone and hibernate with maybe a spouse. So maybe when you see him down there, so yeah, that was the theme song for the Market Me movie where them had for 85 million. My God, can a man so bitter to the Jamaican cause? You see him a deal with book like him is an author, but yet still the health sector pop down. People are sit down on cardboard bed, can't get no seat, sit down in a hospital. Hospital dilapidated and run down and stink. But this guy out there having a wheel of a time at the expense of taxpayers. Yet to the extent where man make all movie. Eh? And I go on like him innocent to the 85 million we get to this individual. When it's known say man are affiliated from before 2016. Long-standing relationship. I wish she have somewhere pull you, Mr. Minister, tough tongue. For your magnet where but you know no steal. The belt buckle we see have, man. You understand? You know no steal, you know. So that the magnet can't draw away your 85 million. Eh? Because you don't have no respect for taxpayers in Jamaica. And that me have to make you know now. Yeah? You see the power and the authority when nasty and jewelness get the whole out now. Yeah? You live a lifestyle beyond on a lifestyle you're not supposed to live. Because taxpayers already pay on good money, you know, for the job, you know, now the most well-paid politician in the Caribbean region, you know. I want to tell you on par with some first world country politician salary. Yeah? But you still can't stop this thievery of taxpayers' money. And so we want some more rigid law, yeah, supposed to put now against these criminals. Yeah, and even in this case, you know, if the people, the powers that deal with arrest and charge in Jamaica, yeah, just use them common sense. You know, so if you go for tough tongue and bangle him up, you know. Because me, I tell you one thing with neighbor people, you know. Anything you hear them say, if it not go so, you know, and here, so. And in this case, it well go so. Because all movie come out, you know, premiere, you know. Premiere appears. But they know about this relationship. It not just start yesterday. It is mentioned in a parliament. And him so feisty and I'm arrogant to self about, you know, living private life alone. You can't have private life when you're a public member. Yeah? You piece of shit, you. You couldn't sit on a parliamentary ticket in the UK, you know. You do if they have to do the movie, they go one year say you have a sweetheart when you're married, you get knocked. So that's why I'm telling you, say, we now make a mockery of the Westminster system because we know how the Westminster system operates. There is a thing where it cut you fast. Cut you out of your career fast. BBC young 1 year something or the Sun or the Mirror. You have to leave public office, your piece of nasty shit house, you. Boy, you're a minister of health. Yeah? You're that piece of garbage. That's why you mash up the health system in Jamaica. Yeah? Everything will happen around Uno no. Then Uno, the people them put the fee and pay the money for run the ministry. Then you don't know, say 85 million move from under your ministry by whatever means or circumstance then. Because you refute the claim saying you don't know nothing, you know. You think you can't come tell about you about this and that. You authorize the signature. You tell them to sign off because you know what you do. So if you don't do it directly, you do it indirectly. Yeah. And it cannot be administered without your reference to it. You know about it, you were privy. What has the Jamaican people benefit from this 85 million?
Nothing.
Nothing, absolutely zilch.
Crazy.
Yeah. So you need to understand and come correct and stop while like you insult to intelligent brother. Because when I stop beat you piece of shit I yield back the floor.
All right. Well said, Melting Pot. Love how you're beating this boy. This is not a minor. This is a sledge.
Oh, you
Love
mean?
how Melting Pot beating the sledge. But Jamaica, we're having this program this morning to show you the systemic corruption. Now, what Tufton had done with Market Me, I am going to show you something similar what Andrew Holness had done. So to the fact that Andrew Holness had done that, well, all of his members of parliament seems to be carrying out the same pattern in terms of hustling their money. Now, let us bring forward and look at the pattern of behavior with Andrew Holness. And you can see as to the reason as to why Christopher Tufton had done similar thing like what Andrew Holness had done. Look at this, my Jamaican people. Let us get into this. And we are going to show you the similar behavior as it relates to Andrew Holness corruption and Christopher Tufton corruption. And that is the reason why I have both of them on the thumbnails. Look at this, my Jamaican people. Look at this, my Jamaican people. Let us get into this. Right? Let us get into that. Okay, no thanks. All right. We all remember this, but you are going to see the similar pattern, right, with Andrew Holness and Gavin as it relates to the similar behavior with Christopher Tufton, right, and that lady. Now, Robert Gavin, whose company got millions of Jamaican dollars in government contract, was also a director of foundations linked to Prime Minister Andrew Holness. The very same behavior in terms of Christopher Tufton know that young lady long time prior before that young lady get that contract. Now, Andrew Holness know Gavin prior before Gavin get this contract. Similar behavior. Now, watch this, people. After 18 Degrees North recently revealed how Prime Minister Andrew Holness Positive Jamaican Foundation Limited raised about 58.3 million, right, in US dollars, $486,182 between 2012 and 2020, with no specifics as to the source of funding. 18 Degrees North has been taking a look at the non-profit directors during that same time period. Some of them benefited from taxpayers' money shortly after or while being a director of that foundation and another non-profit linked to Mr. Holness. Robert Gavin is one of them. Now, Robert Gavin served as a director of Positive Jamaica alongside Mr. Holness from its inception in November 2011. The foundation was incorporated less than a month after Mr. Holness became Prime Minister for the first time. So this is showing you the similar pattern that Christopher Tufton took in terms of giving $80 million, right, to his girlfriend, right? And Andrew Holness now is going to use the similar behavior, right, in terms of indirectly, right, influencing contract to Gavin. Now watch this now, people. The relationship between Mr. Gavin and Mr. Holness dates back more than 20 years. Want to hear that, people? The very same behavior as it relates to what Christopher Tufton had done. Mr. Holness said that Mr. Gavin had worked for him in various capacities, including as project manager, liaison officer for his West Central St. Andrew constituency since 1997. Want to see how long him know him? Long before that job became an official position. Now, 3 years later now, in 2000, Mr. Garvin also became a director of another non-profit West Central St. Andrew Trust, which he and Mr. Owens founded that year along with others for the welfare, education, and development of the people in that constituency. Now, the people in that constituency, nothing about welfare, nothing about welfare. Now, watch this now. Of note is that notification of his directorship status was only received by the company's office 7 years later in 2007. Now, watch this now, people. Mr. Garvin also shared directorship with Mr. Owens or his wife, Juliet, and 3 other entities. Want to hear this now, people? Omega Bridge Finance Limited, Sunshine Mobile Company Limited, and the Lido Taxi Service. As 18 Degrees North first reported in TV Expose in May 2016, the Lido Taxi Service and Sunshine Mobile were removed from the registry by the company's office in 2011 and 2018, respectively, for not having filed outstanding documents. Want to hear that, people? While Mr. Gavin had this business relationship with Mr. Owens, millions of dollars in government contracts. So let me tell you something, people. As I tell you, say, the same pattern of behavior that Christopher Tufton took, the same pattern of behavior Andrew Owens took long before Christopher Tufton. So Christopher Tufton mimicked what Andrew Owens had done and carried it out. But guess what? Andrew Owens cannot speak to him, because Christopher Tufton know that what Andrew Owens had done with this is corruption. So then Christopher Tufton realized that there was nothing done in terms of prosecution for Andrew Owens. So him take a free ride as well. So Andrew Owens cannot call out Christopher Tufton. You understand? Corruption. When Andrew Owens have this. This is my point of sharing this information. Now listen now, people. Some from areas where Mr. Owens had influence were awarded to Western Construction Limited, a company backed by Mr. Gavin and a man named Donovan Simpson. Mr. Simpson told 18 Degrees North in its 2016 expose, the 3 of us are friends. Want to hear that, paper? Referring to himself, Mr. Gavin, Mr. Owens, right? He also said Mr. Gavin and Mr. Owens are very close. Want to hear that, paper? As a result of the broadcast, this reporter, Global Reporters for the Caribbean LLC, the company behind 18 Degrees North and its broadcaster Television Jamaica Limited, right, were sued for defamation by both Mr. Owens and Mr. Gavin. Now, when you look on this now, what happened now, people? Both lawsuits were resolved under confidential terms. So we can talk about that now. We can talk about that now, people.
Okay.
We can talk about that now. Now, after Zara Burton, right, bring out this and identify the corruption and put it out in a social media, Andrew Owens and Gavin sue Zara Burton. But guess what? Guess what now, people? Both lawsuits were resolved under confidential terms. What does that mean? It simply means that Andrew Owens and Gavin lost the case. And here the reason why they lost the case. Because if they had won the case, Zara Burton would not have the privilege to still publishing these information.
True.
Am I wrong, people? Am I wrong? Because if me sue you for defamation of character and say that what you are saying, you are lying, then I would have to pay up because me I defame your character and I say go. Just like when Big Mama, the liar, right, was sued by PJ Patterson. Big Mama now have to pay up.
Yes,
have to pay up. So then when Owens and Gavin sued Zara Burton, right, it resolved on a confidential terms. So then if we talk about the resolution of the case, because the resolution of the case, Andrew Owens lose it.
Long time.
No, the resolution don't disturb any earlier ruling in a separate legal matter giving 18 Degrees North and TVJ the right to rebroadcast the episode. Only hear that, people. Stemming from the broadcast, Jamaica's then Office of the Contractor General, which was made defunct and whose function has now been assumed by the Integrity Commission, might be she want to say subsumed, by the Integrity Commission, investigated, right? The Integrity Commission found that between 2006 now, so the Integrity Commission now got investigate and found out that what Zara Burton had said is true.
100%.
See the evidence there, people. Look, the Integrity Commission found that between 2006 and 2009, there were at least 46 government contracts valued at about 57.5 million, right? $776,000 awarded to Western. To Western. 10 of them amounting to around 21.9 million, $295,590 from the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. Most of those, while Mr. Owens was minister, 2 of them valued at just over $1.8 million, right, which is $24,000 $652 from the Community Organization Agency Social Development Commission SDC for work in Mr. Owens' constituency. And 34 of them were 33.8 million, right? Otherwise, in US conversion, $456,401 from the National Work Agency that oversees roads. But a few of them also being for work in Mr. Owens' constituency. In addition to their core functions, the NWA and SDC are 2 entities that also implement constituency projects on behalf of the Constituency Development Fund. Andrew Owens, you understand, as it relates to indirect influence. You understand? Because man Gavin a big friend, you know. Big friend, you know. Iman Gavin a big friend before Andrew Owens becomes Prime Minister, you know.
Yeah,
Iman Gavin, a big friend from 1997, you know. Wanna read that in the aforementioned where we are coming from. From 1997, you know.
Yeah, man.
This man met Gavin in a Edward Seaga office, you know. And they said the relationship bill, you know. And they said the relationship bill, you know. Now, listen to this, people now. Listen to this. At least 10 of these 46 contracts, most are from the NWA and SDC, are either 0 or only 1 tender. Just like what Tufton had done. Did not put out the contract for tender.
Right.
And in Tufton case, just 1 tender there. Just look
for
for the people. The same pattern of behavior. That when I look over this, I identify them and say, I saw it go. Because the member of parliament under Andrew Owens' administration knows that Andrew Owens is a thief. No, say my thief.
Yeah.
So them now can do. You understand? Likewise, and him can't talk to them. That's why it pays. It pays for the leader to have a moral compass. Now, according to the information contained in the Integrity Commission Quarterly Contract Award database, however, representatives at the NWA and SDC disputed to investigators that the contract had any formal procurement procedures for which they were referred to the Director of Corruption Prosecution by ultimately weren't charged. And you know, so the corruption prosecutor had let him go. Only one of those single of 0 tender contracts were from the Ministry of Education. That ministry told investigators that Westcon was hired via direct contracting in that case because the company had already been on site. There were multiple bidders for the other 9 contracts from that ministry. Relying on letters written by Mr. Owens in 2007 and 2009, the Integrity Commission Director of Investigation, Kevin Stevenson, found that on the face of it, the apparent influence, just like with Mr. Tufton, right, brought to bear by Mr. Owens upon 2 contracts which were awarded by the SDC to Westcon, gave rise to a conflict of interest on the part of the most Honorable Andrew Owens. Mr. Owens was referred for prosecution.
Yes,
see the paper? Mr. Ruones was referred for prosecution for failing to declare his relationship with Mr. Garvin during the procurement process, seen as a possible violation of the procurement law, plus possible breaches of the Corruption Prevention Act and or any other applicable law. The fact of the matter, the corruption prosecutor, Tisha Prince, right? Corrupted Tisha Prince did not prosecute Andrew Holness. Right? See there, no charges for Mr. Holness. However, a 2023 ruling from the Integrity Commission Director of Corruption Prosecutor Tisha Prince Corruption Kamika. Tisha Prince Corruption Kamika outlined that in September 2022, a judge's rules interview with Mr. Holness was conducted. A judge's rule interview is where suspects are usually informed of their constitutional rights, including the right to stay silent. During that interview, Mr. Holness explained that for both contracts, he was acting upon requests made of him by government entities. Which government entities? Which government entities? For the first contract in 2007, stemming from a request by the SDC, which he said was running late with payment that year, he said he merely recommended Westcon. He merely recommended Westcon when you're Gavin. You're Gavin, a friend from 1997. And you're coming out about you merely recommend. You merely recommend what? When Gavin, again, is a director in a tree of your company. So let me tell the people that Jamaica will go and write us up. What you really do, Andrew Holness, is to recommend contracts to Gavin. Because Gavin work for you in a tree of your company then. So then, what I am seeing is that you have recommended contract to yourself via the medium of Gavin, using Gavin as a front man. This is what you have done. This is what you have done. Right? People, open your brain, open your cranium. For the second contract in 2009, where he wrote to the SDC outlining that Mr. Gavin had become the project manager for his constituency effective June 1, 2008. He had previously explained to investigators in 2017 that the Office of the Constituency Development Fund had advised MPs to choose a project manager. And Mr. Garvin, upon being selected, you know him long time in 1997, may have opted for a contract of service through Western rather than as an individual. In his subsequent judge's rule interview in 2022, right, he noted there will be no conflict of interest. There is conflict of interest. You know him from 1997, and you did not disclose it, Mr. Holness. You know him from 1997, and you did not disclose it. And plus, Gavin is a director in a tree of your company. What more you want? Tisha Prince Kamika, you should have prosecuted him. And that is one of the reasons why Tisha Prince Kamika being kicked out and the Integrity Commission, right, body is told her not, you understand, not to send any more application. Not to consider to send another application. That's why she was kicked out, because the whole world, entire world, knows that she should have convicted Andrew Holness. Let us stop cheer this and go to none other than the man with the sledge. You understand? For coming in. Right? I now ask him if you have anything to say. I know him have nothing to say. Mr. Sledge.
Let me tell you something, my brother. Yeah. You see this way I read out where we go over so many times along with the tough tongue one. A 6 or 1/2 dozen of the other. You know?
Yeah.
6 or 1/2 dozen of the other. And them use common people, yeah, as a part of them ingredients in the corruption. But common people no benefit. The 85 million was to benefit the people in a fitness and wellness and the all type of thing. Yeah. And it never happened. Now we hear of people in our constituency where it for benefit, them not get nothing either. You understand?
Nothing.
But if me I preside over this, you know, me just look on the heading, you know, at the company where I get the contract, you know. Westwa, Can, which part of Andrew Holness constituency there?
All right.
Now, Southwest, St. Andrew, there's a West there, and the word Can, what it mean? Okay. You think them guys are use arrogancy when them have set up them foundation for rob the country.
Yeah,
The name West Can tell us say them a con the people along the West.
Yeah.
You understand? I saw them name the company West Can. You understand? Yeah, but you know, let me just look further into where this guy are going with now. And show him say, if him there UK, I use the Westminster model in a parliament. The amount of year when get behind bars and them seize all asset from him, God blind tiger from the DeAndre Barn, he would have never know that could happen to him. The mere fact say you know, Gavin, from in the 90s, 1997, from in around Eddie Seaga. That means you know Gavin before you come a member of parliament. As a matter of fact, before you even enter into politics. Here. And it shows you have a long-standing affiliation. And then we see where him a director upon several your farmer Ponzi scheme shell company them where you run. Because Andrew never run a proper company in Jamaica, you know. Be a shell company. As we know them a Ponzi scheme said speed. Yeah. So there's a long-standing relationship, yeah, between these two guys. Yeah. And Simpson tell you, say Andrew and Gavin, a friend from a long time. So the mere fact say contract leave from your ministry to that guy is conflict of interest, and that alone say you're going to prison, Andrew. We never have to go no further in the case. Using the Westminster model, you're going to prison from just the aspect of you awarding somebody contract where you and them have long-standing relationship from as far back as in the 1990, 1997 to precise. Yeah, so you have no defense. And this is why when 18 degree, yeah, and TVG book back, put out the thing on your file lawsuit, and who come out the winner? 18 degree and TVG. And you have to hush it up behind the scene. And you have to come all in some form of agreement with them, but it mustn't be televised again or published again. You know, so you're a criminal. You're a criminal when you get exposed, you know. You try to hush up people, you know. Yeah. What was the settlement when you lose the case to 18 degree and TVG? What was the settlement?
Yes. Good question.
Yeah, of course. I'm going like say, nothing never happened. And the people, the two entities was wrong, 18 degree and TVG. Andrew, you ever publish the settlement yet? You know, say a hush up thing. You take something that was in the spotlight and turn it into darkness. That's why we know you're corruption and you're criminal. And you must be brought to justice. For several decades of criminality in Jamaica, you're worse than Jack the Ripper. You're on the loose, man. You need to be reigning.
No joke.
The whole law book need to fling at you. You're your 48th minister from another period there. Yeah? Because you're still 49 there. Me I tell you, God Almighty, them mine out Jamaica, brother. Worse than a gold mine or a oil mine. Them drill, extract. There is nothing left under the soil for Jamaica right now. Country broke. Drop flat on its face. Can't breathe again through them criminal here. Yeah? So when them are trying to fabricate something, cause them feel like, you know, this is why we tell people, say, you know, you say education is key to survival. Them no majority of Jamaicans are educated, you know. So they look a few whether they can't challenge them. So when you see them come and speak affluent like them are this brilliant, you know, student, them are shit. Criminal. All of them. Yeah. So them know say, you know, oh, Prime Minister man him this and Prime Minister shit. Him not brilliant in him head and he wouldn't do the things that him do.
Exactly.
He won't go educated when it comes to criminality. Nothing how to run a country. Nothing in the way to be respected as a leader. Him don't know the first common letter when it relates to being the top. Yeah, if you are the chief of the servant, you know, everybody else fall under your administration, you know. Basically, you know. All ministry. Yeah, you preside over them. I are the chief civil servant for the country. You are the big man, so to speak. But you're worse than the little man that they got. God Almighty, what a prime minister, corrupted and full of criminality. The man has raged nearly 3 decades upon Jamaica as it relates to Jamaica finance being ravished by him and his compatriots. You understand? And then to make matters worse, them lie on everything. How many cases on the win at JLP? When I loser. Every court case you have to lose, you know. And when you don't lose it, you know, friend, them fix it up. Cook and curry business. Because hey, right now, if Andrew Holness and Tough Tongue case got Privy Council and 9 million a year them get. 9 million a year. Because remember, you know, the first thing where Privy Council look for, you know, which model you use, which model of law you use in your court, in your country. And when them here Westminster, and you deal with Westminster model law like that, them fling the whole book at no shit house, man, on a criminal man, on a go away. Yeah? And stop run out and go out like on a decent somebody in a society, on a dog. Hold on, a dog. Don't have that. Yeah? Because we know if you're fuck gonna go on with. And it has shown now. Because when you do things, you know, there is a ramification at the end of the line that when prove say you did do something up at the top. And now we are seeing it play out. The country broke down, we mine out the country wealth. We don't mine out the country wealth. Using fictitious means. Loophole where only create nasty and Holness. And your judge friend them. Yeah. The legislator them. We are signing up on some corruption law. You understand? Where we know them, they not can't pass no law nowhere else in the world. Yeah. Oh, you bypass things like impeachment. Oh, you come in with all jagada. You know anything about law nasty and Holness? Eh? What kind of law them they have put to run our parliamentary system? Eh? But you can't do any and everything, but you can't be impeached. When you can't just silent to question being asked. That is why this piece of shit house I talk about. I would rather you leave my private life and stick to your daily business. None of your piece of shit. Piece of nasty, tough tongue. Piece of belt buckle, tough tongue. Give back the taxpayer them 85 million, your germs, yo. Yeah, because you not supposed to beat no minister for health in the country because your germs just spread disease all about. Me, I tell you that. You not supposed to be no ministry of health head man. You're a shit man. And we need to move you from that ministry. Because under your leadership, the country get level 4 travel advisory. You're shame with internationally. Not even toilet paper in our hospital. Not even bed the world has to be Jamaican people on cardboard. Yeah. Whole heap of fatality in a maternal ward. You don't say nothing about that. Yeah. Man a drop off a bench because of nebulizer. Now if they're in the hospital. Garbage. Criminal tough tongue. Criminal and Holness. Do the right thing. Return the money and resign and take a prison sentence. So no garbage, you know. I yield back the floor, my brother.
All right. Blessing for that. Hammering right? Sledging. Now, Jamaica, as we're talking about the consistent pattern, what we see with Andrew Holness administration, we want to maintain that along the curve, right? So we talk about, we see that what Christopher Tufton had done, right? We had addressed that in terms of the pattern of behavior as it relates to criminality of Andrew Holness administration. We have seen what Andrew Holness have done as it relates to, right, Gavin, right? Now look at this, my Jamaican people, because we are just giving you the pattern, the clear evidence that this administration is a criminal network. Now look at this now, my people. This is the worst when you look at this situation where this person should be prosecuted. Look at this. Now, what is going on here? Okay, all right. Now, TAJ forks out nearly 400 million to lease building. It's yet to occupy after 3 years. Now, this is an administration that you are spending taxpayers' money. And what to talk about money spent, where is the value? Right? And so then, how do you care in terms of spending tax money? Would a good government done something like this? Look what this government had done. TAJ forks out nearly 400 million to lease building, which is yet to occupy after 3 years. Now, look at that. This show you that this administration is a criminal network. Now, look at this. Kingston, Jamaica, Tax Administration, Jamaica has forked out nearly 400 million of taxpayers' money over the past 3 years to rent 2 buildings, right? It is yet to occupy 3 4 12, 1.2 billion. $1.2 billion within 3 years. And guess what, people? They did not occupy the building.
God almighty.
Think of it, people. Think of what you are saying. Kingston, Jamaica, Tax Administration, Jamaica, TAG has forked out nearly 400 million of taxpayers' money over the past 3 years, which would now result in $1.2 billion to rent 2 buildings, which is yet to occupy. Think of what I'm saying, people. Look at this. One of the buildings that was leased for $700,000 per month in Another Bay belongs to a sitting member of parliament in St. Mary.
Okay.
You know what? More corrupted than this. Sitting member of parliament. Right? He is in parliament, where he can manipulate the procurement process. Right? So this was not put out to tender. People, read between the lines. This was not put out to tender. He manipulated the process where he is in parliament.
Sitting.
My God. Now, one of the buildings that was leased for $700,000 per month in Another Bay belongs to a sitting member of parliament in St. Mary. The other building in Greenvale, Mandeville in Manchester was leased from a private company for nearly $360 million over the period. Now, the troubling information is contained in a special audit report from the Auditor General's Department and is one of 2 reports that were belatedly cleared for tabling in the House of Representatives on Tuesday by House Speaker Juliet Holness. The reports were first sent to the Parliament in January. The main findings of the audit report are as follows. Make a go right now, people. Bulletin point number 1. Watch this now, people. As at August 2023, TAJ expended $15 million for the lease of a property in Anotobia, St. Mary. TAJ did not receive written permission from the Commissioner of Lands prior to entering the lease agreement for the Antonobia property. And bulletin point number 3, TAJ is yet to occupy property lease in Greenville, Mandeville. Hey, Jamaica people, let me tell you something. Father, that the boy there was just run up in my chat and I talk about we are down in Jamaica. It means a piece of shit.
A piece of garbage that, man. A garbage that. Oh, if we are down in Jamaica when we are to go to Jamaica.
Me don't have no time for that piece of shit there.
No, no, we proceed.
The AGD has recommended that based on the funds already expended, the TAJ must urgently put in place the necessary arrangements for the timely completion of its renovation projects to reduce the level of negatory expenditure, especially at the Antonobia location, given the safety concern at the current office. Hey, look here, man, I tell you. Now, in case of Anotobia location, Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis said she commissioned the special audit based on allegation that the private company of a member of parliament owned a building that was being rented by TAJ, although the building was not being used for taxpayer services. You know, hear that, people? Just like how Tufton can take up $80 million. I want to know. Melting pot.
Yes,
I saw that there's something there expensive.
Yes, man.
Well
expensive.
$80 million feet?
No, put on the next 5, man. Away I do. Stop undervalue the man thing, man. I 85 in pay, man.
Right,
85. 85.
85 million feet?
Yeah, man. You have to fix him up to the right price, brother.
What after I say? Hold on, what after I say? What after I say in my mind? Give me the bench money and make me go and drive it out. Ram.
Well.
Go and drive it out. Ram. But the
taxpayers money I pay and him still can't drive nothing. I be a blue pill him there on him weak. The belt buckle him have.
Well, you must
that
know
drop
that.
down. well, I mean, then you know, see movie.
All right. She pointed out. She pointed out that while she found instances where TAJ was not compliant with the government's asset management policy, you know, they weren't compliant. She saw no evidence to substantiate the allegation that the sitting MP, who is listed as the director of the private company that owns the Antonobia location in question, interfered with the TAJ's procurement process or influenced TAJ's decision to lease the property. Listen to me. You can't be a sitting member of parliament. Right? And where you're involved, where contract sent to you, you getting the benefit of government contract to the tunes of $400 million per year. Right? As it relates to $1.2 billion within the 3 years. And where you are a part and crony of a portion within that $1.2 billion as it relates to the respective persons who were given the contract. You as a sitting MP doing the people's business. And then did not put out this to tender so that other persons may get the chance to bid on it. And then taxpayers' money being paid into something where taxpayers get no benefit, no service of this because they could not use the building going 3 years. So then why pay for the building? Why pay for the building? I not use the building for 3 years. Melting pot, I don't know if you would you rent a place, melting pot? And you're not going to use it for 3 years?
No, sir.
You take up your money
You're
and just
mad.
dash it yourself?
You're
No,
mad.
man, this is a joke, man. This is a joke. Name nobody reach further. You know, we could just broke down this melting pot.
Yeah, man.
So my Jamaican thing, the government claims that them have taxpayers' interest at all. And you take up taxpayers' money, right? Give it to a member of parliament who's supposed to defend taxpayers' money. And we are him now getting the benefit of that for 3 years without offering service to taxpayers. So then, what did we get within the 3 years? What did we get?
Nothing.
Nothing. And we just take out taxpayer money and say, every month, we just give money for 3 years, consecutively, 3 years. And to all of them who involved in the respective contracts that amount to 1.2 billion. So for 3 years, this is how taxpayers' money spent, giving them people, giving them friends, and a thief this. This is like you walk in a bank and just rob it and come out. This is madness. Let me just bring in melting pot. Yes,
yeah.
man.
That one there from over not to be, you know. A 700,000 a month for that building there, you know. So 12 sevens are 84. At 8.4 million that a year. You understand? So you know when you times 3 that you know how much this alone make than the next one down there. So that's why it come to the 1.2 billion, the two entity. But the one there, that sitting member of parliament there. Yeah.
Well, on the melting pot. I want to answer the humble lady, Unstoppable Family. She want to know. She said, I don't understand. So where were these information hidden before the election? Why publish it to the public now when they already stole all those money? What a disgrace. But my lady humble, let me say this. We have been publishing this several times before the election.
Yeah,
this
man.
is not enough. For people who have been following me, right? We spoke about this several times before election. You understand?
Yeah,
and even going into the election, you understand? We
Yeah.
ramp it up. We tell them. We go over this over and over. Everything that you see I'm covering here, the humble lady. Let me tell you this. These are all stale information that Mystic Sensation have gone through over and over and over and over and over. Right? So I know it is the first time you might be hearing Mystic Sensation saying this. But trust me, the amount, to be honest with you, we have gone over this, I would say, more than 30 times. Could be even more than that. On this channel. Particularly
and even when we are on the Titans as well.
And even when we are on the Titans, over and over. All right, go ahead, Melting Pot.
Yeah, so, you know, just look on it from a point of view there, yeah? We know, say, when we hear the individual now who are defend what happen, I say, yeah, him not have nothing to do with it. Of course, him have something to do with it. That's why it went to him. That's why it wasn't tendered in the first place. Yeah, because the conflict of interest arise in this situation. Yeah, and that is why we are saying that the Westminster model is not being utilized in its format that it should in Jamaica. Because if it's in use the way it's used in the UK, he wouldn't even attempt because he knows a straight conflict of interest and is liable to be, you know, sued and charged. You understand? And get jail time. But in Jamaica, it's a wide open gate where them run through. And you know, in Jamaica, when they ask about, you can't catch it back, you know, because the corruption ring around it and protect it. You understand? Yeah. But under no circumstance should these controversy surround a government if a government work for the people. And there's too much of these controversy as we are highlighting in this program. And we've gone more than 3 of them already. You understand? So it just show you. So the government is only milking the country, mining out the wealth out of the country. These guys are not here to serve the constituency that elect them. They are there to serve the master and their pocket. You understand? That's why we know it's a ring of criminals inside the Jamaica Labour Party. Headed by the leader, the so-called Prime Minister, the live Prime Minister, the dishonorable Prime Minister, the shit Prime Minister. So, under normal circumstance, we wouldn't have to be, discussing these matters because it wouldn't exist. But the abnormality, that currently exists in our parliamentary system, I know Marky G is there to fix that, along with its other 27 lions. They are here to fix that. These boys cannot be in the same pattern anymore. This is why they are quaking now. Time come upon them.
Yes.
Time catch up with them now.
Exactly so.
Tell them to do the high level of criminality in this term. They can't. And they will not attempt it. Yeah, because remember, they know that social media platform are onto them. Yes, they know that now. And they know that jail time is waiting for them as well. Yeah. And they know that the opposition is as strong as it has been in the last decade. So they will never try to attempt these type of high-level criminality. But what I'm saying, these are open line of investigation that should have resulted in taxpayers getting back their money and people got prison. You cannot pay 3-year rent for a building where you don't occupy. That is just using that entity to steal the money. They are stealing the money in all different sectors. We see it. It's plain and obvious. Market me 85 million. Andrew Wallace down the sort talk about book back and this, that, the constituency when not like that. And I was said about a little thing called Westcan. And the West him run and him can. He's a con artist. Yeah. And him use that with Gavin and Steele. 50 odd million. 57.8 million. You understand? A member no say Jamaica no benefit. Jamaica don't benefit. Jamaica lost. Taxpayers feel it. The common man in the street, them have to pay more for things. Yeah. Because when them steal the money, them have to find a way to raise back the money, to plug the gap, It's take out and put in through other means. Not by them working to build the country, but by taxpayers working as slaves to put back that what they stole. This is why Jamaica is heavily burdened with tax. This is why Andrew creates so many new taxes upon the society. Yeah. Because Andrew know what is going on with. Yeah. We have a special consumption tax that was, to be extracted from when you go to the gas station and buy fuel. Yeah, that was something that was designed to use, as a tax threshold to repair our road continually. That's why them take it from the fuel consumption and call it the fuel consumption tax. What Andrew Wallace did was to mix it up into one big old pot of corruption, call it consolidatory funds. So you can't trace nothing. And then him go in at it, and him dive in at it, and him swimming at it, and him thief out the whole of it. And this is a result. That's why you see him play havoc with motorist life on a daily basis. And send out some little guy out there for ticket you willy-nilly, for drinking all that big around your steering. Yeah? And like, you can't do that. Yeah? And them tell you, say, make love with bigger buckle. All them garbage there. You see him roll out all type of things for the motorist as it relates to your tool pan at the back of your vehicle. Your one vehicle, if you carry, you go work. You put one little tool pan in it. Them stop it, them charge it, them say if you have green plate. You have a little vehicle and you carry some yam and banana. Yeah. It no hang out a protrude. Yeah. It's well secured in your vehicle. Them stop you and say if you have green plate. You know, say Andrea criminal. Wake up in my Jamaican people. You have to wake up, you know. You know, can't make politics money sway, you know, intention from what you know is right. It can't be that you know just run behind a corrupted criminal government all the day on your life and I support them. They will never change down your life, will not get better. You understand? Who will be ever on the phone calling foreign? All the think people in a foreign have things to go now. The country in a foreign they run better than what Jamaica is running. You think that the government up here that run the place like oh Andrea run Jamaica, we could have nothing to go now. We wouldn't even answer on a call. You know, would have become a nuisance to us. But because better policy and better governance reside in a first world country, that's why you see people can leave and come a first world country and can hold up them head. While you not drown. You not drown in a Jamaica, you can't see. What more you need for open on the eye? To the Chinese, them they come out, advise them grows, them not get paid for 6 months. To the truck haulage contractor, them they come out after them owe them over 11 million one man I say. Government have 11 million, people can't get the money. But man, have you use gas oil. We draw the aggregate, go to the Chinese them. But him can't get paid to just like the Chinese. You know, so the government in a serious dilemma. The government is in serious dilemma, but they are liars. They won't tell you the truth. They come and fabricate the story and the day. Oh, the country has the best economy since 1962. Piece of shit. How are you trying to fool? You can't fool me and Mystic and a lonesome. You cannot. We are the Titans. We know exactly say you're under pressure. Your country has sink. Your country move from repression, from depression. Yeah? You understand? From recession to depression. And that's the country there. Yeah? The country move from recession to depression. And you need to tell the people them you can't pay the workers them in the country. All what you call it now, sanitization in the hospital, nobody no want them contract because them yes no money now run. Yeah? People don't take it up. Yeah? And that is a big disadvantage now to the health sector. Because what you have now is more disease that breed up in a place where you're supposed to get cured. You're gonna hear epidemic broke out in the hospital then. So you have to come and talk the truth. Yeah. But you know where all of the loot there, you know. And you know who have all the loot. It's a ring of have it, you know. Yeah. It's a ring of uno sit down for Jamaica wealth. Yeah. We see all the tourism minister one time I put up some little sign and millions to them, you know. Just some little sign, you know. Just some little sign. Any ordinary people can construct that. It not cost much. And millions that run into. Everybody find a way how to steal from all the ministry that they represent. Yeah, because Edward let it steal through tourism, you know, using the sign, you know. Tough tongue him steal through Market Me and Beryllium Hospital. Yeah, Andrew him steal through some little, you know, Danmanship style, Gavin, some contract, fictitious contract where him award himself. Him, Andrew Wallace, have him the contract them. Yeah, we see a guy now have 4,000 share. Yeah, in a one thing, now them call Meditech, where them a sell drill to the country for 31 million. Drill no value nothing. Yeah. Then they are conflict of interest. All of them people I may tell about a sitting member of parliament, you know. Using the West model, you know, they make a mockery of the West model. Yeah. They are making a mockery. Yeah. Of the model. So we want them to just understand, say, here what now. We can't go no more of them things, you know. Marky G, ISAT, and the whole of them man, they are top liar. Yeah. Dr. Hilton, them man, they are top liar. And many more top liars. Yeah. Many more top liars are there. I don't even have to call them names. Them too much. One can't manage the 28 now. This 28 so cutlass I got chopping out of parliament. Not in the physical terms. You know what I mean? Yeah, so don't take it out of context. Because we don't support and instigate violence. But we don't know what I mean. Alright, let me go to the original style. You see the 28 lion, I go kick out them cheaters here out of the parliament this term here. Here. So no understand the melting pot of Setuna now? Yeah, because you see this, it must come to an end, you know. We can't allow this to continue to flow like the River Nile, you know. No, it have to, the end has to be in order. Yeah, and people forgot prison because the whole of are criminal. And there's nothing you can come with in our defense. Yeah. All look of fictitious clause and loophole want to put around it. We are look through it. And when we look through it, I only we see at the other side. I only we look on at the other side. Because them things can't happen without full knowledge. And that's why we don't pursue justice if we never know about it. If it did come as a surprise to you, yeah, we know that pursue justice. We don't know what to say, we try to hush up the case, man, try to frighten people with lawsuit and end up losing the cases then. And then I tell people to keep it in the dark, don't put it back out there. Why? So these are the plain signs to show my Jamaican people how much of a criminal network our parliament house is harboring under the Jamaica Labour Party. So we put 28 lions in there to step on this term here. Yeah? There's nothing you can do outside of the parliamentary book. Try it now. Andrew, try it this term if you think about it. Make an attempt at it. You piece of shit, you. Boy, you're prime minister. You're a crime minister. You facilitate stealing taxpayers' money, which is a criminal offense. You have a minister of national security who can travel because of certain criminal offense that is linked to it in a Wikipedia. You understand? I have several more of these garbage each up in a ministry under your portfolio. Yeah? This honorable bunch of criminals who are. Yeah? This honorable male and female in the party. Well, look when I look back a while, girl like Juliet Wallace just rise up with here. I carry out 800 million project. And that is only one of three in that little space there. Just up when you go up Lee's back side there, you know. The 800 million one was only one of three, you know. Where Juliet get so much money from? And to make matters even worse, she breached the planning permission. She had over 50 more rooms to what was allocated for she to build. She was trying to steal land from the woman who sell her the plot of land. To show you, say, they're all criminals. Yeah? It shows you, say, the Prime Minister is a rogue. Yeah? Because as much as him and his wife so wealthy, him not satisfied with you, you know. You know him have to have sweetheart, just like the Minister of Health. They all having sweetheart because remember one woman can't utilize so much money with them boy or thief, you know. Criminal have to have an expanded lifestyle, you know. That's why them steal, you know. Criminal have to expand them lifestyle. And in an Andrew case, him think too arrogant. The man go up at Beverly Hills and make everybody up there look like them not try. Build the biggest castle up there with stolen money. Stolen money! And that's no secret to the world. Tell lie. And when you dig and search, you can't find nothing to back up what him tell you. So you know have criminal money around that. Yeah. There was no mortgage to be found. Yeah. And no loans to be seen. Where Andrew get the money from to build the place over God know. Andrew all undervalue him own property when people who have the profession to value, what you call valuator, say it value 10, and just say no, a 5 it value. And just say no, we are about 10. A 5 it value. No, in the value 10 a 5. Who the one that value them one asset? And the size of it. It's on a seismic scale never seen before. So I have to play it down. I tell lie. Same Bilal stone wall. Andrew can make stone wall. Look on the man and it's smooth like baby bottom. That piece of shit. But him trade when we learn at school at woodwork. Woodwork. But then you end up at chapstone. Hey, you know, so it's like it's if a build stone wall and I want easy job. Yeah. I want hard skill job because you see all the axe where you use to chop the stone if you don't know if you angle that you chop all yourself. Piece of shit house. Yeah. And the worst Prime Minister Jamaica ever seen, you know. This guy are the worst Prime Minister we ever have in our entire politics arena. This guy practice criminality because I come from the ghetto and we think he would have been the real product to represent we as ghetto people. No, and the worst product we could have ever have it contaminated. Very contaminated. You understand? And I'm going to show you how the guy contaminated. Him don't remember him childhood. Him don't remember what constitute him childhood. Every child growing up have to play, yeah? To build them bone and to strengthen them body, yeah? And to learn how to interact in a society. So them start out with them mates of their age group. That's why most people send their kids to nursery to learn and play. That's what nursery offers, yeah? But here is Andrew Willis coming with a fictitious, bogus law and creep it up on society. Nobody never hear about it, you know. It just creep up, just like the car seat. Nobody never hear about it. It just happen in a society one day and it becomes an uproar. Yeah? When the youth them tie gun now carry the same penalty as a real firearm. Hey, if me is a manufacturer for a tire company, me sue the garbage. Me sue him and mash him up for defamation of my product. Me mash him up. He don't even know what I do, you know. And just so don't start him don't even know, say, big corporate company international, they can sue the shit out of you. You can't bring them product into disrepute. Eh? Them product now being classified as real firearm nastiness, garbage. You don't even understand what you do. I tell you a long time, so you make the ego get the better of you. And perceive your judgment. You piece of shit, you. Eh? And some little people down there ratify it and put it into law. Hey, we system want clean up, you know, my brother. Because some people in a big wings, you know, I get some kickback from the government. That's why you see them support every nastiness where the government come with. Them not look at them and say, no, this is not good for our society. This will only damage our society. No, you don't hear that, you know. The guy passed some garbage law there, you know. Call impeachment to him take off of the book. Eh? Yagada, you can't talk to nobody. Like you're not done, you're not shit house, you're not garbage, you're not criminal, you're not thief. I don't forget prison time. And I yield back the floor, my brother.
All right. Blessing, melting pot. Wonderful punches there. Now, Jamaica, let us talk into some serious matters as it relates to constitutional reform and what is one of Mark Golding's primary objective, right, to leave the Privy Council, right, and go to the CCJ. And one of the reasons why Mark Golding, right, want to do that is to deliver justice, right, in a very broad way, that every single Jamaican can have access in terms of getting justice. So let me just explain the background before I get into that program. Now, if we remain with the Privy Council, that is going to automatically deny many, many Jamaicans, right, from access to the Privy Council in terms of, you know, getting full satisfaction in terms of, you know, pursuing, right, their case, if they believe that the system had dealt with them unfairly. right? And people want to go through the full course, right, to get this justice. So Mark Golding's mandate is to make sure that every Jamaican, right, can at least have access to this particular justice, right, by going to the CCJ, right? While Andrew Holness want to hold on to the Privy Council. In holding on to the Privy Council, he acts as if you want to go to the CCJ, but that's the political optics, right? When it comes to near general election or near any election, you see, he acts as if he wants to go to the CCJ, but he doesn't. He doesn't. And this is the issue, you understand, as it relates to him and Mark Golding. Mark Golding wants justice to deliver throughout. So let us go through the process and explain it, right, in that regard. Now, watch this one, Jamaican people. Let us share this document, right, so that you can understand. Make yourself aware where this is concerned. Now, here is it. Editorial and New Committee, October 2nd, 2025. So this is quite recent. Mark Golding's decision to personally assume responsibility for constitutional reform in the opposition's shadows cabinet suggests that it is an issue behind which he intends to put the full authority of his office. That is, as president of the People's National Party and leader of the opposition, it also means that it is Mr. Golding who, without go-betweens, will negotiate directly with the government on constitutional reform matters. Not where Andrew Holness is now want to send him to the Justice Minister, right? It has to be a one-on-one between the opposition leader and the Prime Minister, because fundamental issues like the CCJ is very much important. Now, which is on its face a positive development, given the collapse of the previous effort and the need, as this newspaper has argued for a fundamental reset. Two actions by Prime Minister Andrew Holness in the aftermath of last month's general election give no credence to this idea. Now, first, Dr. Holness, who now has a reduced majority in Parliament, removed from his cabinet Marlene Malawu Fort, is ill-starred standard bearer on constitutional reform. Her portfolio was subsumed into Delroy Strzok's Justice Ministry. Then, at this swearing-in, Dr. Holness appealed directly to Mr. Golding that they work together to advance constitutional reform, albeit his call was limited to transitioning Jamaica from a constitutional monarchy to a republic. Mark, let us quote Andrew Holness. This is Andrew Holness saying this now. Mark, let us partner together to complete the work we started and making Jamaica a republic, the Prime Minister said. Now, while this was an encouraging gesture, the question of Jamaica becoming a republic hardly represents the full suite of issues to be addressed in constitutional reform. Now, neither does it address how matters should be sequenced or the intellectual and organizational framework within which the reform process ought to be managed. Now, for instance, while Dr. Holness' government has placed great store on Jamaica becoming a republic, Mr. Golding's party has insisted this should be coupled with Jamaica removing the London-based, this is where we are going now, colonial-era judicial committee of the Privy Council as its final court and accede to the civil and criminal justice jurisdiction of the Caribbean Court of Justice, signaling the newspaper support Jamaica's full accession to the CCJ, in whose established it at great hand, whose financing arrangement it helped to pay for, and whose bench its nationals, including the current president, sit, and in which it participate in the court original jurisdiction as interpreter of the treaty that regulates the Caribbean community. Now, indeed, it's hardly sensible that Republican Jamaica could retain the King's Court in London as its final court, and limited resource make the option of an entirely domestic third-tier court exceeding difficult if it is to be properly resourced, right? Given the constitutional reality that the government can't proceed on its Republican track without the opposition support, the logical of a reform reset is insurmountable. In other words, the deck should be cleared and the process started anew. The efforts of the previous exercise need to be totally lost. Its outcome can be sifted to determine what from it can be rescued for the reconfigured project. So now let us look as it relates to why we support the CCJ, right? We simply support the CCJ as a result of accessibility to justice, right? It is just plain
affordability.
exactly
And affordability as well.
and affordability. So that is what accessibility comes in. It covers affordability and so forth. Now, let us show the people why it is indeed prudent for that to take place. Now, let us show you why it is prudent for that to take place. Now, look at Vybz Kartel. This is what I use as an example. That Jamaica government faces 150 million, right, dollars in Vybz Kartel case. What does that mean? It means that is what it costs Vybz Kartel, right, to deal with his appeal. So let us ask the question: how many Jamaicans can afford that? If there's a situation where, right, the criminal justice system denied you, right, of justice, and you know very well that they are wrong, how can you afford to get justice done in terms of the final court, final appellate court, which is the Privy Council? So then when you look at this and you read this, the Jamaican government faces a potential reimbursement of approximately $150 million in legal fees to Vybz Kartel and his 3 co-defendants following their successful appeal at the United Kingdom Privy Council. So that is what I am saying. Let me stop from sharing that. We're only showing you what it will cost, right, depending on the case, per persons to deal with Privy Council. So even if you take off 50 million off it, you're pretty much looking near to deal with a Privy Council case. You're talking about at least $100 million. How many Jamaican? Let us ask that question. How many Jamaican, right, can really afford that? I am asking a question. Tell me, how many Jamaican can afford that? Now, what's the next move? To show you why it is important for us to go to the Privy Council. Look why. Now, here, let me bring up this. Let me increase the font so you can see why we are talking about justice, right? So you can understand what we are talking about. Now, CCJ increases accessibility with the use of technology. So then, for people who are seeking justice, you don't even have to travel. Now, let us look into this. The court piloted a video conferencing bridging solution on December 1st. Right? See that? Now, as stated in its mission statement, the Caribbean Court of Justice (CCJ) strives to operate with accessibility, fairness, efficiency, and transparency. Now, these goals have been enhanced as the court recently improved its video conferencing capabilities to include a bridging solution where attorneys can now appear at the CCJ by using devices that are connected to the internet, equipped with a video camera and a microphone. These devices including laptops, tablets, and cell phones. The solution is also capable of being used with existing communication platforms such as Skype or Zoom. This provides opportunities for attorneys to appear before the court even if they do not have access to video conferencing units. The first attorney to use the video conferencing bridging solution on December 1, Mr. Vidyanan and Perswan SC lauded the CCJ for the innovation. He stated this was the first time the CCJ implemented this system whereby I can, from my personal computer, participate in an hearing before the court. In fact, CCJ was literally brought to the living room. Exactly. Mr. Perswad continued. The capture, the visual and audio was crystal clear, and the links to the various participants operated like clockwork. It was a remarkable, flawless, maiden venture. Earlier this year, the CCJ also began live broadcasts of hearings. This allows interested persons a chance to experience the court in real time from any internet-enabled computer. CCJ's hearing from inception are also captured on audio and video recording on the court's website, ccj.org. The Right Honorable Sir Dennis Byron proudly stated, accessibility is built into the very DNA of the organization, and we continue to strive to eliminate barriers to justice wherever we find them. The CCJ has proven that by integrating technology throughout our organization, we can be more transparent, more efficient, and more accessible to the people of the region. The court is ending the year as it began with upgrades to its technology. In January 2017, the CCJ announced that it had adopted a new court management software that includes the filing of cases electronically. The Curia Court Management Suite also has modules for different aspects of the court's administration, including performance management and case management. The Curia software platform also includes a module law offices can use to effectively manage their litigation and caseloads. The software was focused of the inaugural Apex Convention in the Bahamas, where stakeholders from across the Caribbean discussed how the increased use of court technology utilization could provide solutions to help with backlog reduction, judicial performance enhancement, and court process improvement. So my Jamaican people, right? When you go this way, right? Yeah, when we go this way, you tell me, Jamaican people, as it relates, and this is very important, very important for many Jamaicans to understand the difference between what Mark Golden wants and what Andrew Holness wants. Now, if you have Andrew Holness, right, continue to maintain Privy Council, right? 90% of Jamaicans cannot afford it, right? And so then for justice to deliver throughout, because people will think that, okay, all right, why you care about persons being charged and persons going to Privy Council? So then you don't aware that people can be innocent of their charges. That's why due diligence is important. That's you can go through the entire process, right? And if there is a breach in procedures, the Privy Council can point out these breaches. Right, so it is very important for you to understand that, okay, all right, a Jamaica Labour Party government is not going to give me the justice. It may not happen to you because you claim, say, well, all right, you know, give yourself any trouble and, go there and do anything and blah, blah, blah. Now, look at the case of the misidentity now at Cherry Tree Lane, where that guy is an innocent guy. And mistakenly, he did not even get the chance to utilize the Privy Council. He was killed. And guess what? It's sad now to find out that what the police is now saying, mistaken identity. So now you tell me now, my Jamaican people, in terms of what I am saying and the importance of what I am saying, that many persons, right, look at the case where this government, right, released someone who had been locked up for Wapia kill Philip. And it is DNA evidence who came and proved that person innocent. Go back to the case of Paula Llewellyn, right, who had made apprehension, right, and prosecute those three gentlemen, and we are to the fact that they charge, right, some Jamaican thing, them guilty else them won in a bank around. But indeed they were innocent. They were innocent. They were innocent. And so then if it wasn't now the advent of DNA evidence that being utilized to say, no, they are not guilty, we would not process them in the system, last them in the system, believing that they are guilty. Because what? They caught up in the judiciary. They caught up in the criminal justice system. So we can't have mind like that. Yes, we know that you have people who are criminals, but not all of them who are criminals. What happened to those persons who innocently caught up with the system? How are they going to get justice if we are to think in that regard? Let me eat back and bring in Melting Pot in this regard. Melting Pot, come in.
Yeah, my brother. I'm going back to the inception of how you start out this little edition, speaking to the people upon the topic, yeah. We know Andrew Holness always use a political platform to go on like say, well then, him is a, substance to the cause of the Jamaican, yeah. But him always use it and trick the people them. We know Andrew no really want nothing to do with what he must tell Mark Wallen say him and him to come in collaboration and fix this problem as it relates to Jamaica becoming a Republican state. Yeah? Him not really want that, But him project himself like he's in favor of that. Then why you think him shy away and don't respond to Marky G letter? Him should have been in such an ego to answer back Marky G. When him refer Marky G to Delroy Chuck. Because I don't really want nothing to do with this. Because if this becomes the norm now, yeah, then say we have to left the Privy Council. And you don't want we leave the Privy Council as the final appellate court. You don't want that to happen. But here it is now. When you have to use that as the final appellate court, yeah, it comes with accessibility and affordability. Because you have to have a visa first, Not true, you have a case and you have to just fly come in at UK, and attend Privy Council, you have to have a visa. Yeah, and you have to have the funding. And in the case of where we hear Vibes Cartel case, the 150 mil. So right away, you know that exempt majority of Jamaicans who we know are the ones that they try to incriminate. Yeah, the big boys them can afford it, but you notice the big boys them have case where them not get charged with, so it now applies to them. Yeah, the CCJ where Jamaica help to fund, where we have people on the board, and you don't want that because several Jamaicans now would be able to argue their innocence in a court that will give them justice. So we Andrew Tribal, make it tedious for Jamaican to access the Privy Council in London, which it is. You understand? Them man that work off of dollars and cents, them man that work off of pound and pence. Okay? And £1, you know how much it value. So what am I do? Am I deny Jamaican people justice when the system dealt them injustice? They cannot find a medium or a channel to access justice on their behalf. It only takes Vice Cartel because they have the wealth and the resource. And Vice Cartel case is a prime case, yeah, to show, yeah, to Jamaican what is the real issue at hand. Yeah? Vice Cartel show you say Jamaican get charged innocent, you know. But if you don't have no money, you can't fight them. Because you have to take it to the final court of appeal, which is in London. You have to have visa and you have to have money like Vice Cartel. But with the CCJ, you don't have to travel. And in the case if you did have to travel, it's easier to access because we are all CARICOM state. Yeah? So Andrew Holness does not want to deliver nothing good for Jamaica and Jamaicans. What Andrew Holness wants is to continue to operate as a dictator amongst us, which we know our sovereign law does not encompass a dictator. Our sovereign law is one that, you know, embrace democracy, freedom of speech, freedom of movement, and the law that exists, the 1944 People's Act, it does not give this kleptocratic government the authority to trample upon us, but he's using it inappropriately, trampling upon Jamaican society, especially the underprivileged that come from the ghetto. So we have to move on to all this by all costs. Yeah? Because that guy will use a political podium them, you know, to tell the lies them, you know, and trick the people, you know. I mean, you want to ask my people again how long we have allow Andrew for reign over you. You know, job people, you know. You not allow a fear or evil man for reign over you. Eh? You have to stand up, man, for justice, man. You have to stand up for equal rights and equal opportunity, man. You understand? You can't make a one idiot boy like Nancy Andrew Holness reign over you no more, you know. You're not supposed to allow it. Because I'm going to show you, you know, and get up people them target, you know. Andrew government target get up people. Yeah? And more so people with influence like a ninja man. Substantial evidence, narcissist strike 5 years and mash up the man's life and his career. But me like ninja man, you know, when all is said and done, you know, yeah, a lawsuit, a piece of shit, they strike 5. And she have to pay me for every year of my earnings. Yeah? Because ninja man is supposed to be at prison. Ninja man case is a more easier case than the Vice Cartel, and the Vice Cartel can win film case. Ninja man case are cut and dry. Ninja man was sentenced innocently by the state, orchestrated by Andrew Holness and the nasty DPP, Paula Llewellyn, because Ninja carry influence, and Ninja is a rival to Andrew Holness in the said constituents. And Ninja carry influence. I remember Ninja man sing about free food ticket, you know. I know at the JLP and the Edward Seaga Institute that. So them know say Ninja is a straight comrade. What you do? You take out Ninja and the substantial evidence. What is substantial evidence? That is not real evidence. You go and put hearsay from you say and me say. So if Ninja case it ever got Privy Council, it wrap up quicker than for Vibes Cartel. And Ninja liar would have been so Andrew Wallace government and Nancy Paula Llewellyn to damage the man's career, yeah, in a way. And they would have to pay him for yearly earning average when earn a year. Yeah? So Andrew do a whole heap of things and I get on with it. That's why Andrew no want to leave the Privy Council. That's why I dep on it as a King Council member. But this is the guy who say he want to leave Commonwealth. Oh, you believe Commonwealth? When you're one of the King Council member, you piece of shit, yo. Talk to the people and straight. Stop lying to the people in Jamaica. And then come out and fool them on political platform and dangle carrot in front of them because you take them for rabbit. That's why you keep dangling carrot in front of the people. And the people can't realize that this is not going to work. This can't improve life. This can't protect the youth them from criminal injustice. We don't see that. We don't make the Caribbean country them. Yeah. We don't have the resource and the size of population like Jamaica are live better than Jamaicans. And the Andrew Holness government, Trinidad and make all video with people and show them to them dog and eat TFC regular and una line up and a cause chaotic scene where police all have beat people with baton just for a 2-piece. I yield back the floor, my brother.
All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me say and thank you for that melting pot. You know, we're going to have to come back later, right, on the evening show. So people, we have some right interesting topics that we have for you on the evening show. So we are going to take a break for now. We want to say big thanks to all the people who passed through, right? And continue to keep up the fuel, right? We want to say we appreciate it a lot, right? Big thanks to you all, right? Without you, right, we couldn't, exist for this long, right? So we want to say big thanks to all of you, right? And again, of course, melting pot, right? The one and only opening batsman. And yes, people, we will be forwarding later. So for now, we are going to take a break and tell you, right, to walk good until later. We are coming back with greater information, right? More powerful subjects, right? So people, love you. Bless you all. Melting pot, up and ready.
Yes,
See you later. Blessings. So that's where we end it today, my people. Walk good. And thank you for passing through once again. All right.
I don't want you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.